Welcome to the Bending the Bracket podcast. Here are your hosts, Ben Madison and Lane Smith.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Bending the Bracket. I am your host, Ben Madison, alongside my co-host, Lane Smith. Lane, your week is going how, sir?
Going well. Getting ready for the weekend and some great sports to watch out for this weekend.
Yeah, we got a lot going on. We're going to preview some of the NFL matchups this weekend, the biggest ones. We're going to get into college football, talk about college football. We have some NBA finals to talk about. Major League Baseball playoffs are heating up. I can hardly keep up with it all.
No, I'm telling you, it's insane. Like we talked about last week, just everything going on at the same time. Normally this time of year, it's football and, baseball is going to the World Series, but for the most part, it's all football. And right now it's just everything stacked up on top of each other with the pandemic.
I love it. I mean, we had a lot to deal with. It's been a challenging year, obviously, and we're getting the payback now with all of these great sports stacked on top of each other.
Right, we are. And, we're starting to see some COVID tests positive in the NFL. It's kind of causing a ruckus there with the Titans. And I think the Patriots had Stephon Gilmore yesterday. And so it's starting to be a little, I wouldn't say widespread yet, but you're starting to see it be more prevalent. And so you hope that's not a sign of things to come and they can get that under wraps, because that would really be disappointing if you saw these teams have to start canceling games.
Yeah, absolutely. It's hitting New England hard right now. And if this team can survive this, can ride this wave and still get into the playoffs with everything that happened in the offseason with losing Brady and now with these hits on their big players. I mean, these aren't just, average roster players. This is your best defender. Your quarterback was out last week. Hopefully he'll be back this week, but I don't know how the protocol on that is. If he's tested negative yet or not, I'm not too sure on that yet. So it's going to be maybe another week without Cam, at least one game without Stephon Gilmore. So that's tough to absorb.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Belichick's had enough to do with thus far, and now dealing with two starters, it's going to be a tough road to go. But I think if they can get past this, like you said, they'll be better for it. And the Titans, I don't know what to make of that. I thought we were in a clear there, and now all of a sudden they got three more that tested positive, and the NFL is talking about making them maybe forfeit a game because it was acting on their own fruition to work out last week and they weren't supposed to. So that would be a big step for the NFL. I don't know if they'll actually do it, but that would be something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, it would be. And like everything else in 2020, everyone is just kind of feeling it out as they go. I can't tell you how many things I've seen this year, whether it be sports or business or anything really, where it's like that never, ever would have happened in reality, even last year or 2 years ago. And now all of a sudden it's like, well, we'll chalk it up to 2020. So there's so many crazy things happening. We just have to buckle up and ride it, and we'll see how it goes. But want to go ahead and get into the NFL. Tonight we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers visiting the Chicago Bears. I think this is going to be a good game. What are your initial feelings on this game?
Yeah, this is interesting. Foles had a rough week last week in his first start for the Bears, and Foles has a habit of bouncing back in just the most unlikely of ways. So I could see him getting blown out this game, or I could see Foles having a good game and making it competitive, and Tampa winning a close one. But I think Tampa wins either way.
I'm kind of feeling Chicago tonight, and I don't know why, but maybe it's just because I've seen them play on Thursday night a couple of times in the last 2 years, and they seem to play well. And I don't know if it has anything to do with the fact that it's Thursday night or if it's just total coincidence. But I feel like they have a chance tonight. I think if they can get some pressure on Tom Brady, Brady playing on the short week, he's playing well. He's playing out of his mind for a 43-year-old. Really, anybody that even starts at 43 is impressive, but he's doing great things. But at the end of the day, it's still a 3-day break for him and having to turn around and play football. I know he doesn't get hit like your position players typically do. So, but even that, father time catches up with you. So I think he may pull back a little bit tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, Brady is always going to be Brady. I don't know if it matters the day or the break in between. I just, this Tampa team is clicking right now. on defense and offense. Just they don't have a weak spot right now, so it's hard to go against Brady for me. But I could see the point because Thursday games are always kind of weird. So
Yeah, they're weird, and you never know what's going to happen. The line is Tampa Bay -3.5. I think that's right where it needs to be.
yep,
If I'm putting money on this game, I would probably pick Tampa, but I have a feeling Chicago may pull one out tonight.
I wouldn't mind seeing Chicago win a game, get Foles a win, and it'd be good for my fantasy team. So yeah, it'd be good to see Foles have a bounce back from last week.
That's it. You got old Nicky Foles on the fantasy team this year.
Well, reluctantly, I needed a quarterback, and I went and picked him up. So I need him to start doing something.
Hey, you could have done worse. You could have done worse for sure. Should be a good game. Can't wait to watch it tonight. We'll see how it goes. Another one to talk about that is obviously related to COVID, and we kind of just talked about the Tennessee Titans. And this is a game that I was really looking forward to, so I hope they get to play it. But it's the Buffalo Bills, who are, of course, 4-0. Josh Allen lighting up the world at the Tennessee Titans. And so if Tennessee were to forfeit this game, which we're not familiar with because it never happens in the NFL, that would just put Buffalo at 5-0, right?
Yeah, that would put Buffalo 5-0, and I don't know if I just really can't see the NFL taking that step. Maybe taking away a draft pick or something, but I can't see them taking away the step of forfeiting a game. We'll see what they do because it depends on how strong the message they want to send.
Yeah, it's really one of those things where, like you said, do they really want to go there? Do they really want to garner that power and judge a team and decide a team's season? It's kind of I don't know how much power they really need to have in that case. I just don't think it would be fair. You have a 53-man roster. They all work their ass off in the off season, even though, this year's a little bit different, but to penalize the entire team with a loss based on what a handful of guys did, I can understand maybe finding the guys that went and worked out off site, but I don't know. The forfeit I don't like.
Yeah, I just can't see him taking that drastic step on the first offense. If this was a repeat offense, then maybe, but I can't see him doing that right off the bat.
I can't either. So look, I hope that game gets played. We'll see. Looks like it could be a good ball game.
I think Buffalo would roll in this one. Tennessee has not practiced now in basically 2 weeks, so it'd be really hard to go into a game having no practice or very little practice against Buffalo, who's lighting it up.
Yeah, Buffalo is on fire right now. So it may be their year. And obviously, if the forfeit were to occur, that would be the absolute easiest win in the history of the NFL.
Yeah. Yes, it would.
Want to move over to Pennsylvania now, where the battle for Pennsylvania is going to feature the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Philadelphia Eagles, the undefeated
Boring.
Steelers. Boring. Why
would the Eagles? The Eagles. What do the Eagles do to excite anybody right now?
Well, look, the first place Philadelphia Eagles, they
Yes.
dominated the road win against the NFC defending champions. So look, the Philadelphia Eagles are a dominating 1-2-1. They're going into Pittsburgh to face the 3-0 Steelers. Of course, they were forced to have their bye after 3 weeks, which I don't think was fair, talking about fair.
Yep.
So now they've got, a long stretch of the season to go. But look, they're loaded. They're playing great football. I don't think this game is going to be close. The line on it is 7.5, Pittsburgh -7.5. So I think Pittsburgh, I don't know that they cover that, but I think they win the football game.
Pittsburgh definitely wins the football game, and I think they'll cover it and more. I don't think it'll be a 14-point spread, but I think they can win by at least 10.
Yeah, I think that you're probably right on that. If I'm putting money on it, I'm going to go with Pittsburgh.
For sure.
The game that I'm probably most excited about this week is the Indianapolis Colts at the Cleveland Browns. Never thought I would say that, but both of these teams coming on strong. Both of these teams appear to be well coached. And again, never thought I would say that in Cleveland, but it looks like they finally have a good coach in Cleveland and something they can actually build upon. Indianapolis is favored by 2 points on the road, which, road and home doesn't matter that much right now. Your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I think I like Indy in this one. They're playing good right now. Phillip Rivers looks a lot better than he did to start the season. I know Baker Mayfield's playing well as well, and so it'll be interesting to see which one can go. But Rivers having the veteran experience and the way they've been rolling the last couple of weeks, I like Rivers.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to see Indianapolis win this game, but it also wouldn't surprise me to see Cleveland win this game. I think these teams are pretty evenly matched. I think Cleveland obviously has a better, higher powered offense, but Indianapolis has the better defense. So that's the matchup I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, now Cleveland's going to be missing their star running back Nick Chubb. They do still have Kareem Hunt, but that's worth noting. And so we'll see what they can do there to change the offense. But look, they played great against Dallas, and that was one of those games they kind of stole that game. I don't think going into the season nobody picked them to beat Dallas. So that was a game they got that they maybe not were supposed to have. So see how they bounce back from that, a big win like that, and see what they do against Indianapolis.
Yeah, and that's a good point because they very well may have a letdown after that big win. We're going to see. I think what's interesting to see here is how good of a coach Stefanski is by getting them ready to play again. You know, you come off a big win, national television, America's team against America's team. So if they come out and they play sound football, then that'll be a sign that they're very, very well coached.
Absolutely, they are well coached for sure.
Next game I want to talk about is the 1-3 Minnesota Vikings at the 4-0 Seattle Seahawks. It seems like these two play on Sunday night in Seattle virtually every year. I remember last year we had this game probably week 6, week 7, and it was a good game. Seattle pulled away at the end. This one is Seattle -7, which to me is a big line. I know Minnesota is 1-3, but they're a good football team, even though they're 1-3. So, what are you thinking about this line?
Yeah, I don't know. Minnesota's playing a lot better the last couple of weeks, and I expect them to play well Sunday. Seattle does not have the defense they normally have, so I expect Minnesota to put up some points. But how do you go against Russell Wilson right now? The way he's playing, I don't know how to pick against him. So I'd have to go to Seattle, and that spread. I don't know. I think it'd be closer than that.
Yeah, so you would take Minnesota if you were putting money on this game.
Yes, I would take Minnesota for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely tempting, and I think that this is a make or break game for Minnesota. There's something about having like 3 losses to the start of the season, but when you hit that 4th loss, that really to me puts you really against the wall because you really don't want to lose more than 6 games if you're talking about making the playoffs.
I'm not under any kind of illusion that Minnesota's going to make the playoffs, but I would like to see them play better than what they've been doing.
Your Saints are going to take on Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers in the Dome Monday night. This is the game that I'm really looking forward to. It's kind of the old guard and Drew Brees versus the new up and coming guard in this young wave of quarterbacks. And while there's no fans in the Dome, or it'll be extremely limited, I still think it's going to be a tough game for Justin Herbert just because I don't know, the energy of New Orleans is a tough place to play. This line is New Orleans by 7. Your thoughts on this one?
Well, first breaking news: Anthony Lynn has named Justin Herbert the starting quarterback.
Thank God.
Who saw that coming?
I told you,
So,
I think he must have listened to the podcast. He must have heard where we said he was going to be fired. So I did your people make that call into the general manager's office and take care
maybe
of that?
so. It's possible. I
I
mean,
think they probably did.
there's no way he meant that when he said it. So,
Yeah, there's some things these coaches say, and look, it's the whole right thing to say at the time type thing, but you just look at it, you're like, really, really. It's like when Jerry comes out this week and says, or I'm sorry, Steven Jones comes out this week and says, we're right there. Things look rough, but we're a lot closer than you think we are.
yeah.
It's like, what planet are you living on? You
He's
have
bought into his
the
dad.
worst defense I've ever seen in the NFL, except for maybe the Saints a few years ago. No offense.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I don't know. That's pretty bad defense. I don't know how they compare to that. This game could be good though. Breeze has looked better the last couple of weeks. I still don't think he's great. Herbert going toe to toe with Brady last week just shocked me. So I don't put anything past Herbert. Nothing is too big for him from what I've seen. So I think he could go toe to toe with Breeze. To me, that seems like a big line. I think the Chargers could cover that line, but I'd have to pick the Saints to win the game.
Yeah, I think the line is too big myself. And look, the Chargers, while 1-3, they're still a tough out. And they played the Chiefs into overtime and should have got that game. Last week they played Tampa close. They easily could have won that game. And look, of course, a loss is a loss and a win is a win. But they're a competitive football team. I think they're going to continue to get better now that they have Justin Herbert. They have that firepower at quarterback without seemingly having the downside of what they had with Phillip Rivers.
Right. Yeah, I think they definitely got an identity now with Herbert, and I expect that to continue as the weeks go forward for sure. And I don't know if they're a playoff team, but I mean they're at least in the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And if nothing else, they're going to be the spoiler. Like I said, they're going to be a tough out for a lot of teams. So we'll see how that one goes. Looking forward to that Monday night game. Seems like we're getting some better Monday night games this year.
Yeah, the Monday night game, the schedule for Monday Night Football is better than the Sunday Night Football schedule. That's the first time that's ever happened. So I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of the matchups. They got some good ones coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be really good. And I'm looking forward to next week whenever Tampa Bay and Green Bay play. Brady against
Oh, that's
Rodgers.
going to be good.
It's going to be the one. And the
Grab
Packers.
popcorn.
Yeah, bring the popcorn. And the Packers have their bye this week. They have an early bye this year. So they're going to have an extra week off to rest, which, I don't know how banged up they really are after three or four games. But hey, it's the NFL. You get banged up every week. But
Yep.
so they're going to have, that extra week off to prepare. Tampa Bay, of course, has to play tonight. So they play on this short week. Then they get the 10 days off to prepare for Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. So that's going to be, to me, probably the matchup of the year so far. I'm really looking forward to that game.
Definitely. The way Brady's turned it on the last couple of weeks, he's going to be ready to go. And, Rodgers is going to be ready to go as always.
Yeah, absolutely. Tuesday night, the Los Angeles Lakers they're one game away now from the championship, the 102-96 victory over Miami. This was a competitive game, and there were moments that I thought Miami could get back into this game, but the Lakers are just too much for them. They outpower them at the most. They outplay them when they have to. LeBron is determined not to lose this series, and he's going to win this ring. I think that they definitely close this out Friday.
Yeah, I can't argue that. The Lakers are a clear favorite. They're going to win a series. No matter of they can choose when they want to close it out because they're going to win. They're going to do it Friday or they're going to do it the next day, but they're going to win the series.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they probably close it out Friday because, look, these guys have been in this bubble now for, I want to say around 80 days. I mean, it's been a long time that they've been in this bubble. They're ready to get the hell out and go home. So
LeBron's been vocal about.
Yeah, they're ready to go. So
yeah,
absolutely. I think this thing is over Friday. I think LeBron wins his fourth ring. It'll be interesting to see if he or AD gets a series MVP. I'm thinking it's going to go to AD this year.
Yeah, I don't know. LeBron always gets all the hype, so I can see it going to LeBron, but I'd like to see AD get it.
Yeah, I know you love them. Do you have the purple or the gold jersey on right now?
Right. Yeah. I kind of, when Kobe left, I kind of put my Lakers fandom aside.
Oh, that's why you're a Kobe fan. No, I love Kobe Bryant. Yeah, absolutely.
Huge Kobe.
We lost him way too soon. So
yes, we did.
They're going to win this one for multiple reasons. And I think one of the biggest ones is for Kobe, actually.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it. They've been riding that emotional roller coaster all year. So I think they definitely want to make a statement and get this win for his family. And maybe I would look for them to kind of have some tribute when they get back to LA in regards to him with the championship. That'll be interesting to see.
Oh yeah. And I hope they come out Friday night wearing the Black Mamba jerseys.
That'd be great.
And just win it for him.
Yeah,
there.
That would be
a nice touch for what has been a crazy 2020. And we've lost some people really unexpectedly, like Kobe Bryant, an absolute legend.
Right. If that happened Friday, that might be the one time I wouldn't criticize LeBron. So,
Well, you can't. I refuse to let you I refuse to let LeBron be your new Bill O'Brien. So that's not going to happen. Okay, I will mute your mic.
He
I
won't
will mute
be.
your microphone if that happens. You have to show respect to the GOAT. Okay, you
Yeah.
just do.
Well, I mean, I've showed a lot of respect to Michael Jordan.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have a show dedicated to the GOAT debate. We're gonna have like an hour-long debate where we can scream and holler at each other, and we'll put a explicit content label on it, and we'll scream and holler profanities. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, let me make your head explode right now because my list will be Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron.
I'm looking for a co-host. If anybody's interested, it's a sports podcast for people that actually know really good players. And no, I'm kidding. I could never replace you. Uh, to me, it's these debates for GOATs, whether it's NFL and NFL is so different, really, because basketball is such an individual sport. So I think that you can pretty much hone in on at least the top three, and 99% of the people will agree with it in the NBA. But look, I can make an argument LeBron is the best, but I can also make an argument Jordan's the best. So the people can argue Kareem is the best. So it's really a matter of opinion. I think it doesn't matter how you dice it up. And look, if you have Kobe above LeBron, that's fine too, because he was an absolute legend.
Absolutely, and I know he didn't play the defense LeBron does, so that maybe we're going to give the edge to LeBron. But as far as the championships and even making it work with Shaq and during the years when they didn't get along, of course that was Phil Jackson too. But I don't know, maybe I hold Kobe in too high a regard, but I've always said MJ and Kobe back to back.
Yeah, those two were so similar, and a lot of LeBron's game reminds me more of Magic Johnson. So while he wears the 23 jersey and all of that, he still, to me, it looks more like Magic Johnson from his size, the way he plays the
Yep.
game. Jordan and Kobe very much mirrored each other, or well, I guess you could say Kobe mirrored Jordan, even to the way he sounded when he spoke in interviews. It sounded just like Michael Jordan, but Kobe was so good that he was still able to be his own individual player. So that's what made him so special.
Right. Yeah, he was, and he always had something to bring every night. I don't know if I ever saw a bad game from Kobe. They were always good games, and you had to watch if he was playing.
Yeah, absolutely. And he was a scorer. I mean, LeBron can score as well, but LeBron also does other things. Not that Kobe couldn't, obviously, but he was a pure scorer.
Hmm.
So that's what reminds me more of Michael Jordan
Yeah.
with Kobe Bryant, is he could drop you, at will, basically. It doesn't
Oh
matter
yeah.
who he was playing.
No doubt.
He can play the best defensive team in the league, and if he wants to put 47 up tonight, he's going to do it.
Yep.
So that was what was impressive about him. Obviously, the 60-point game to end the career was just insane. So it's again, we hate that he is gone, but this would be awesome to see the Lakers win it for him.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Want to move over into the Major League Baseball playoffs now. They're getting going. They're getting heated up. Somehow our Braves are on the verge of moving on to the NLCS, sir.
Yeah, I still don't believe it. My eyes, I swear, are deceiving me. There's no way this is real, but they finally have some good pitching, and it's coming through in the playoffs, and it's been fun to see. And it looks like the offense is starting to wake up too. So they're clicking at just the right time. I can't wait to see what they do in the next round.
Their pitching has been phenomenal.
Really
They're up
has.
they're up 7-0 right now in I believe they're in the 7th inning. My screen
Yeah,
just froze there.
go up
Yeah,
bottom
bottom of
seven.
the 7th inning. They won yesterday 5-0, correct?
Yep, 5-0 yesterday,
And
7-0 today.
and I want to say, I don't have it in front of me. I'll have to go back and look, but I want to say they either gave up 1 run or no runs in the first game. And also the two games that they won against God, who did they play in the first in the qualifier? It's
The
escaping me.
Reds. Was it the
The
Reds?
Reds, thank you. I don't know that they let the Reds score maybe 1 run in 2 games. So this staff is just nailing the door shut.
No, they are. This reminds it's very resembling to the days in the '90s with Maddox and Smoltz and Levin.
Absolutely. And that's just at the end of the day, even though baseball has evolved and when we were kids, we'd see these regular 2-1, 3-2, 4-2 scores. And now it's common to see 11-7, 7-4, 10-8 games. There's more offense now. But at the end of the day, you still have to have the staff. And so Atlanta is exciting. It looks like they have the staff to get it done. The Dodgers up 2-0 on the Padres. That game last night was crazy. I don't know if you finished the end of it, but that was a wild game. The Padres, 2 runners on base, the go-ahead run actually at second base, and they couldn't get it done. The Dodgers were able to get out of there with the win. So the Dodgers up 2-0. It's looking like it's going to be Braves and Dodgers in the NLCS, which I can't wait for.
Right. Yeah. No, it's going to be good, and I want to see the Braves beat the Dodgers so bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I like certain players on the Dodgers, but overall, I'm not a big Dodger fan. On the other hand, the Dodgers have been right there for so many years. You kind of wonder why they can't get it done. They are definitely the modern day 90s Braves that were so good, but couldn't get over the hump.
Right. Right.
So it would kind of be ironic if the Braves were the team that still
Yeah,
prevented
would
them from
love
getting
that.
over that
Would
hump.
love
Right?
that. It's to upend the Dodgers and send them in a tailspin.
Yeah, I think that one of the saddest things about sports in my childhood was only seeing that Braves team win one World Series in '95.
And I barely remember it.
Yeah, exactly. They beat the Cleveland Indians in 6 games, and they got swept by the Yankees in '97. Either
Six, I
97,
think.
I think it was 97. I'd have to go back and
Maybe it
look.
was. Yeah.
But they got swept by the Yankees, and they just never could get back to the top of the mountain. So it would be cool to see the Braves win this year. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of people, regardless of who wins the World Series, is going to say, well, let's put an asterisk next to their name because they only played 60 games.
Well, yeah, but it was a lot. The 60 games is a lot, especially when you're playing a lot of back to back.
Yeah, I think it is. And while it's only a third of a regular season, I think still at 60 games, you know who's good and you know who's not. And if you look at the final teams here, there are a couple of surprises like the Marlins and the Padres. But other than that, I mean, most likely you're going to have Braves, Dodgers in the NLCS, and most likely you're going to have Astros and Yankees. Actually, the Yankees are down 2-1, but I still think they're going to win that series.
I do too.
So if you didn't have the 60-game season, who would you have said were in the Final Four? You'd have said those teams. You
Yep.
would have said those teams. So I think that the good teams win at the end of the day, and I think that this World Series champion is definitely going to be legitimate.
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure.
All right, Lane, take us away on some college football. What kind of matchups are we looking at this weekend?
Yeah, it's a good week for college football. It's starting to heat up a little bit, getting in a part of the season. So you're starting to see some better matchups than what we've had. This week is no different. Texas A&M coming off an embarrassing loss against Alabama. They're going to try to bounce back against Florida. That game is in College Station. So interesting to see what Florida does on the road. They've looked really good the first couple games. Interesting to see if they can keep putting it together the way they have been. They've playing that offense have been lights out. And even that defense has played very well. So I'm interested to see what they do on the road against A&M coming up.
So, yeah, in this game, it may be interesting, but I think Florida rolls.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I mean, the way they've looked the first couple of weeks, it's really hard to argue against them right now.
Yeah, your boy Jimbo Fisher, who I think I would like to nominate as the replacement to Bill O'Brien for your rants.
Very possible.
Do you think he would make the final cut or at least be, top 3?
He's in the conversation, but I don't know if I could rant on a college coach the way I could in the NFL.
I don't know. This is a college coach that makes more money than most NFL head coaches.
Which is embarrassing because his teams are terrible.
Yeah, I agree they are, and I think they're going to get absolutely throttled this weekend.
I root for it because I do not like him and I do not like that team. So I do hope they get embarrassed again.
I don't like any Texas teams, though. I mean, let's just be honest. You're not a Longhorns fan. You're not an Aggies fan. Is there any Texas team that you tolerate?
I mean, I don't mind UT. I think their fan base is completely irrational, but they're okay to watch. I mean, I don't have anything against them. They think they're back every year, and they're not. But they're an interesting story because of the way they recruit.
Yeah, they are, and they still carry that branding. There's certain organizations, certain teams that can carry that branding even without seeing the success, like the Notre Dames or the UTs. Notre Dame was in the championship a few years ago and got absolutely demolished by Alabama, but that was the last time they were really, a decent football team.
And they had no business being in that game anyway.
No,
so,
not at all. not at all. So, yeah, it's something about Texas football fan bases, specifically UT and the Dallas Cowboys fan bases. They're completely delusional. Every year is their year, and that's just how it is.
Well, Texas changes. They do not believe in hanging on coaches very long. They gave Charlie Strong 4 years, and I think we're 3 years into Herman. So I mean, and they want it. They want him out already. So that fan base is very irrational. They do not like their coaches when they're not winning, and they don't have they have a very short leash.
Yes, they do. And so, in your professional college football opinion, how many games can Tom Herman lose this season and retain his job?
Ooh, that's I mean, look, the
4?
game of the year for them is coming up this weekend against Texas or Oklahoma. So
Yeah, yeah.
um, he's got to win that game for sure. You have to win that game.
Yeah, I think so. And look, it's kind of how I was saying with Gus Malzahn is, if he knocks off his rival every third or fourth year, he retains his job. And so while the pressure's high in Texas, if they were to beat Oklahoma, I think that would probably buy him another year unless they just fall apart.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah. Going forward from there, we'll have LSU and Missouri. That game should be just like the Vanderbilt game. They should blow them out. Missouri's not good. LSU, the only thing is they were going to be in Baton Rouge, and they've had to move that game to Missouri because of Hurricane Delta. So that was kind of a last-minute decision, and we'll see what LSU can do on the last minute going on the road. But I still expect them to win this game.
Yeah, I think they'll win this game. Who's better, Missouri or Vanderbilt? Is it
I would,
6-1, half a dozen the other?
yeah, pretty much. But I mean, maybe if I had to give an edge, maybe Missouri, but it's close.
Okay, so we're looking at probably like 35-13 LSU, something like that.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, I'd like that.
Yeah, I think
Um,
they're. It looks like, and I know you have to take in the level of competition as a factor, but it looks like they improved a lot from week 1 to week 2. LSU,
yeah, they buttoned a
and
lot of things up.
yeah, so I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna move in that direction. Like you said last show, they could be 5-5 for all you care, as long as you see improvement and growth in these young
Yep,
players.
that's all I'm looking for. I have no expectations of them to win the national championship or go to playoffs or any other nonsense. They lost 17 people. So
Yeah, that's tough, and the
yeah,
coaches they lost as well.
yeah. So I don't have any real uh, expectations as far as that goes. So winning, 5-5, I'm good with that. Just have something to build on going to next year.
Absolutely, and another point that I think is one to consider is with this crazy COVID stuff as far as college football goes. I think most of these coaches are going to get a pass this year unless they just have a terrible season. The Tom Hermans, the coaches that may be on that warm seat. I think if as long as they compete and they can always blame it on COVID, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. But I mean, you're still gonna have some coaches get replaced, I think, but they do have a little more leniency, but consider circumstances. I would think going from LSU, Virginia Tech, and North Carolina, I think is a sneaky good game. North Carolina looks very good to start the season. Virginia Tech's always competitive, so those two I think could play each other close. North Carolina looks like they might be the one team that could give Clemson a scare.
So you think North Carolina could knock off Clemson?
They came very close last year, and this team looks similar this year. So, yeah, I would say they have just as much chance as anybody else.
Is this year's Clemson team as good as last year's?
I mean, I hadn't seen them play anybody yet, so it's really hard to
Yeah, it's hard
say.
to say.
Um, I would, I don't know. I would hold off on that.
Yeah, it's a little early to find that out. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's an interesting game for sure, for sure. Any other key matchups we want to watch out for this weekend?
Uh, let's see. Oklahoma and Texas. I mean, that's the rivalry, and it's always good between those two. Um, and like I said earlier, I think Texas, Tom Herman, you have to win that game. Oklahoma's had two straight losses, and to be able to hand them a third straight loss would be unprecedented for that
Oh
school.
yeah, on the flip side of that, if Texas wins the game, then you're talking about 3 straight losses for Lincoln Riley. Not a good place to be.
Not at all. Not at all. And I mean, his job is not in jeopardy by any stretch of imagination, but
Right.
it does show that Oklahoma is vulnerable and kind of gives you a blueprint to what it takes to beat them.
Sure, absolutely. And I can't remember the last time I was saying that the Sooners were in jeopardy of losing 3 straight games.
Oh yeah, no, I can't remember the last time they lose 2 games, so never mind 3.
And so early
Um,
in the season. I mean, it just
right.
started.
Yeah,
So,
right. This is it's been surprising, and so we'll see how they do. I know they got to bounce back, and maybe rivalry game. Both teams are gonna have a little extra energy and enthusiasm. So we'll see which one comes out on top.
yeah, it's going to be fun to watch for sure.
Other game I'd like to see Tennessee and Georgia. Tennessee has done remarkable from where they were a couple years ago. They have done a remarkable job of recruiting and getting the best out of players. And I like what they're doing in Tennessee. And Georgia's looked great on offense. Their defense is still a little rusty, but that could be good. I know number 14, number 3, you wouldn't think it'd be a good game, but I could see Tennessee giving Georgia a close game.
Yeah, it's exciting to me that Tennessee is becoming relevant again. Uh,
This
this
fast.
fast, absolutely. I have a lot of uh, family members or extended family that specifically on my wife's side that lives in Tennessee, and they are volunteer fanatics. So they are seriously thrilled about this team.
That look, I mean, they got them going in the right direction, and where they were a couple years, they couldn't find a coach, and they had no idea who was going to coach that team, and so they picked this guy, and he's doing very well. He's doing right.
Well, I know that Kim Jong Un had turned this job down.
Yes, yes,
That's the number one
right.
meme of all time. I mean, it's the number one sports meme of all time. I don't know how I laughed until I cried when I saw that meme.
I still pull it up every now and then.
Oh, it's
It's so
fantastic. I
great.
mean, who decided to put him in a damn Tennessee Volunteers jacket and think this is a great idea? And look, it was because it's awesome.
It's incredible.
And for those of you who think we're crazy right now, you can definitely find it if you Google it. It's a meme of Kim Jong Un wearing a Tennessee Volunteers jacket, and the caption says, "Kim Jong Un has turned down the Tennessee job." And this was back when they could not find anyone to coach this team. So I guess it's one of those you had to have been there moments, but it was damn funny. It was really funny.
Yeah. Oh my god, so good. Yeah, you got to find it. If you hadn't seen it, you got to find it. It's really worth your time. But Jeremy Pruitt's done a remarkable job, and going to get him and making that call. They were, people laughed at him when they made that call. So he was a Saban disciple, and he has done extraordinary things in Knoxville.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see how certain coaches' disciples do better than others, right?
Yeah, yeah. Saban's coaching tree with Kiffin and Jeremy Pruitt, and Georgia too. So yeah, he's had some good coaches come from his staff.
Yeah, he has, and in the NFL too, typically if you've come from the Andy Reid tree, you're a fantastic coach. If you come from the Bill Belichick tree, you are not. And I think that tells you that Bill Belichick is a genius, but not necessarily a teacher. And being in close proximity to a genius does not make you a genius, Matt Patricia. Andy Reid, on the other hand, is more of a teacher. You look at his coaches from his coaching tree. His coaches tend to be a lot more close to him because the philosophy is the same. I did want to say one thing though, is regarding Bill Belichick's coaching tree. There was one exception,
What's
okay, and
up?
his Bill O'Brien.
Oh God.
I mean, he was a genius. He was able to be a general manager. He was able to be a counsel to contract negotiations and a head coach.
Well,
And he
that's
sucked
because
at
the
all.
Texans front office is inept.
And he sucked at all 3. So yeah, of
Yeah,
course they're inept. Of
he's
course they're inept. So
awful.
I couldn't resist. The bait was there. I had to grab it. And I'm not ready to let him go just yet. I mean, it's almost like losing a family member here.
Oh, some other stupid franchise will hire him as a head coach. Have no fear, and he'll run that in the
Oh,
ground too.
oh, absolutely. Because the one thing about the NFL is it's basically a coaching recycle bin.
Yeah, right.
If you lose your job, chances are, unless you were just absolutely terrible, you were going to get another job. And even if you can't get a head coaching job, you'll be a coordinator, aka Jason Garrett. Which, I don't know. You go from being the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys to being the offensive coordinator for the New York Giants and the worst offense in the league. I don't think you can get much lower than that.
Yeah, I don't know. Garrett's, yeah. I don't know what else can you say about Jason Garrett.
Yeah, he's exceeding, or he's not exceeding. What is he? He's meeting my expectations for
But the
that
one
now.
thing the Giants would do is if they have a bad year, continue to have a bad year as bad as they're having, they get rid of Judge and promote Jason Garrett.
Is that really an upgrade though?
I
I
mean,
mean,
it's the Giants. Anything's possible.
see the Giants. I still can't. I can't absorb the fact that the Giants are so bad. I mean, they're the Giants. They've won 2 Super Bowls in the last 13 years, and I know they have a different quarterback now and all that, but they have a rich history. So the Giants, it shocks me that they remain this bad.
But they have no direction. That's the Giants and the Jets both have no direction.
They don't, but I still have hope for the Giants. If I'm a Giants fan, I have hope with the good ownership of the Maras that they're going to turn it around eventually. I just am surprised it has taken so long, specifically when you look at the division they're in. I mean, they just need a competent coach and they could win that division.
Well, yeah, when they went on and got Joe Judge, I lost all sense in them
Oh,
having any
oh
competency.
yeah. I was like, who?
Yeah, right.
The
That team,
special teams coach from New England?
right? Because you can go get anybody in that market. You could get anybody to
Oh,
coach that team.
anybody. And really, I thought that was going to be the place that Matt Rule was going to land. And it shocked me that he landed in Carolina because he's from New York. It just seemed like such a perfect fit up there. But
Well,
he chose
Matt,
Carolina. So far, that's starting to work out for him.
yeah, Matt Rule told him no. I mean, that's
Yeah.
how bad are you? And your coach is from there says no.
Yes. Yes. I would rather go to Charlotte than New York.
Right.
That
Yeah.
speaks volumes. And
Yep.
look, Charlotte's a great city. I've been there many times, but
And it's not New York.
uh, it's not New York. Exactly. So speaking of the Panthers, they're looking pretty solid. Joe Brady, look, he can turn around anything.
Joe Brady's a hell of a coach. He is what he did at LSU last year and is continues to do in Carolina. I don't know how he was not a coordinator before last year. It's absolutely mind boggling to me, but he is tremendous. And Teddy Bridgewater is playing out of his mind right now. I say that because last year with the Saints, we was picking up when he was starting for Drew Brees when he was hurt. It drove me nuts because he was not putting up the numbers we were used to seeing. Every game was like 150 yards passing or maybe 200 yards passing. It was never the electrifying 300 or 400 yards passing that we had used to seeing.
Right.
And this year, you're seeing it every year. You see, or every week, you've seen him to go for close to 300 yards or more. So, Joe Brady has figured out something that works with Teddy Bridgewater, and it's. I think this team is good. I like them better than most. I don't know if they're a playoff team, but they certainly have a good enough team to have a winning record going into next year.
Yeah, that was the frustrating thing too. Is look, the Saints went 5-0 with him last year.
Yep.
But they played not to lose, and they didn't lose. But I mean, they didn't let him throw the football. And look, he's an NFL quarterback. Every quarterback in the NFL can throw the football. You don't become a quarterback at that level without having at least a competent arm.
Right.
So my same thought process that I had back when Alex Smith was playing with the Chiefs was, and you had Andy Reid, is look, he can throw the ball in Andy's case, and then also in Joe Brady's case, great offensive minds. Let the guy throw the damn ball down the field. I
Yep.
mean, people treated Alex Smith like his maximum throwing distance was 14 yards. And the same with Teddy Bridgewater. It's like, let them throw the football. And then if they stink up the joint and they throw 15 picks, then okay. But they were just treating them with kid gloves. So it's really cool to see Teddy Bridgewater because I've always been a Bridgewater fan, and it's nice to see him succeeding, especially after that horrific knee injury.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I think I like Bridgewater a lot. I liked him before he came to New Orleans, and he's always been a humble guy. And it was a
Yes.
shame to see him get the injury he got in Minnesota. So to see how far he's come since that injury is really something to see. It's something that should be talked about.
Moving on, now we're going to introduce a new segment called Which Do You Prefer? And long story short, I'm going to ask Lane which NFL quarterback he prefers between two choices and why. And we're going to see, what we think here. So, would you rather have Derek Carr or Dak Prescott?
Oh, God. Um, I, I think I don't know.
I threw a curveball on the first one there. I
I
didn't think
think
it would be so tough to get you
I
going.
do think I would go Dak though. He's more proven as far as the passing game. Derek Carr is so up and down. Dak's been pretty consistent, putting up the yards and making the throws.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, and I wouldn't have agreed with you 2 years ago, but I would agree with you now. I think that Dak has the advantage in that matchup for sure. Let's go to another one. So, would you rather have? Here's a good one. Would you rather have Russell Wilson or Patrick Mahomes?
I like Mahomes. Yeah, I like Mahomes' weapons around him. Wilson doesn't have those weapons. He makes it work, regardless. But Mahomes having his weapons and a team around him, I like me Mahomes.
So, if they're both on the Kansas City Chiefs and you could start one, which one do you start?
Oh my God.
Then it becomes difficult.
Yeah, that's
Or they're both
difficult.
Seahawks. It doesn't matter. They have the same supporting cast essentially.
Right. Um, Probably Wilson. He's got the I was going to say he's got the Super Bowl. So does Mahomes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
He has 2 Super Bowls minus 1 because of an idiotic play
Yes.
call. And
Right.
so in my mind, what it's worth, Russell Wilson is a 2-time Super Bowl champ.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
And the most
I
impressive,
go Wilson.
it's you can't answer wrong, right? You just can't answer
No,
wrong.
yeah,
I
you
mean,
can't.
it's one of those things. But the thing that impressed me about Russell Wilson amongst everything he's ever done and said is literally minutes after that play, he was so calm. He was just kind of like, ah, shucks, we didn't get it done. You just lost a Super Bowl because your coach is a moron and you were that composed.
Right,
Like
exactly.
that was impressive. I was like, I could never be that way. Most people would not be that way. They would be just furious. And so the maturity that he's shown from the second he entered the league, same with Mahomes, though. I mean, these guys are so young and they're so mature and they're the face of billion-dollar franchises, and you would never know that they're 22, 23, 24. And also, of course, Russ is older now, but he used to be that in that position
Right.
at a younger age. So cool. So I tend to agree with you on that one, although there's no wrong answer on that one. I
No.
mean, it's not like I flip a coin, I get Russell Wilson. Oh, okay. I'm not sad about it, right?
Right. Right. Yeah.
So that's a good one. And I'm sorry to throw these tough ones at you. I'll let up a little bit. How about Gardner Minshew or Sam Darnold?
Oh God, Minshew. Not even.
I could
not even
probably
close.
say, would you rather have Sam Darnold or the 3'7" quarterback on the U7 Pee Wee team around the corner? And you would still say,
All day.
I'll take the quarterback from the U7 Pee Wee team.
All day.
So I would definitely take Darnold. I think his ceiling is much higher. I think he makes some great plays. He makes some dumb plays as well, but I still think he's got way more talent than you give him credit for.
Yeah, we'll see. With some better coaching, maybe, but
That's right.
I hadn't seen it yet.
Well, this season's a lost cause. They're going to get Bill O'Brien in the offseason. I really, truly believe. And then you're going to see the Jets just absolutely take off. It's going to be crazy. I'm thinking 16-0.
Look, I'd love to see Bill O'Brien and Sam Darnold on the same team. That'd be so fun every week.
It would be fun. We would just have to change the name to the Jets podcast.
Right.
That would be it. That would be it. And then the whole show would be one beep from your mouth. It's just nothing but profanity about how much your disdain for the Jets is just overflowing. So cool. Well, let's do 2 more. Let's see. How about Carson Wentz or Jared Goff?
I'm going to take Goff for sure. Yeah.
Really?
Super Bowl experience.
That's
Wentz was hurt when they went to the Super Bowl. Goff shown the ability to get there and, played close. They could have won that game and doesn't have the injury history that Wentz does.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And that shocks me because I thought you would definitely say Wentz because I know that, you're not too high on Jared Goff as a passer. And you think most of that is Sean McVay. And look, I think a lot of it is Sean McVay because you look at Goff his rookie year, he was a disaster until he got some leadership. So that's an interesting one. I would probably go the other way. I think Wentz has a higher ceiling, even though the injury history, overall, he's a better player, but I've always been a Carson Wentz fan. So right now I don't look too smart with that, although he did get it done Sunday night. So we'll see, but that's the first one I'd probably push back a little bit on with you. All right, let's do one more. Would you rather have Baker Mayfield or Kyler Murray? It's the battle of the Oklahomas.
Yeah, I give me Kyler Murray. He's got more explosiveness. He's got a better arm. I take Kyler Murray.
I agree. So we're 4 out of 5. I pretty much agree with you on all of them. And I could see your point on Jared Goff as well. So
right.
That's a fun segment. I like doing that one. I didn't think I would stump you that much, but we'll do it. And then Monday I'll give you mine. You can ask me yours and we'll have fun. We're also going to introduce a new segment Monday, top 7 teams, top 5 quarterbacks. And that's just going to be a thing we're going to start doing this season, as well as end of the road. So that I'm looking forward to end of the road. I think
I am too.
After 5 weeks, there'll definitely be that team that is very much underachieved that you just can't see making the playoffs.
Right.
And I would say that's going to be the Dallas Cowboys, but it doesn't really matter until they get to about 12 losses. At that point, you might eliminate yourself from the NFC East.
Yep. They're in it till the end.
They're in it till the end, so I guess some fan bases, that's all you can ask for. And we'll see. But, I'm actually rooting for everyone in that division to keep losing so that we could see like a 5-11 division champion. I mean, I haven't run the numbers yet, and they all play each other twice, but it's probably doable. Maybe a 6-10 team could win it. But anyway, it's a historically bad division. So
they are, yeah.
So any closing thoughts from you, Mr. Smith?
I think that's it. I think this week is a more exciting week of football than what we had last week, and there are some better matchups. So I'm looking forward to another good week of NFL, and looking forward to see what the Braves do to close out the Marlins.
Absolutely. I think they're going to go to the World Series this year. It's 2020. Anything can happen.
I'm ready.
That's going to do it for us, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. Don't forget to check us out Monday, and have a great weekend. And that's going to do it for us for this episode of Bending the Bracket. Thanks so much for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe to follow our latest content. You can also find us on Facebook or Twitter @Bending Sports. Have a great day.